start with some questions to get to know you a little bit better.
Yep.
So, first question, favourite food and who cooks it?
Pawa and me.
And are you a summer or a winter person?
Actually, I'm a bit of both because if we have a look at Hine Takarua and Hine Raumati, I sit under both of those atuakuia. So yeah, I actually really enjoy both.
If you could write a book about anything, what would that book be?
Probably about the wairua of our rohe, and I've been thinking about it for a while because wairuatanga isn't just about Māori wairuatanga, it's about all of ours and how we contribute to the overall well-being of our rohe and tairāwhiti. So I'm really interested in that.
Have you ever been arrested?
No, there have been times, but no.
If you're elected, what issue will you make your number one priority?
Everything leads to health, hun. It doesn't matter whether it's in the environment, whether it's our roading, nā mea katoa I te taiao, it doesn't matter. Everything comes back to a healthy community that's got equitable access to everything, becomes sustainable, and that means our people are well. And I'm not just talking about Māori, I'm talking about everybody, because it's not just Māori, even though we hold the highest statistics, that are in the deficits within our community. So can I answer that question and say what's the one thing on top? They're all on top, but it's where we lean our energy into ensuring that we can address all of those take that are on the table.
What do you think are some good characteristics that you need for the council?
Be transparent, be deliberate, and actually get really curious about what the issues are for our community. Apart from the big ticket stuff, have a look at what our people are saying. Be honest, be transparent. What do I bring to the table? I think over the past few months, especially through the whole COVID environment, when tairāwhiti decided that we were going to stand up our own COVID tracing hub response team, people have come to realise that give me a task, I'll do everything I can to achieve it for the well-being of our community.
What's the issue that's most important to you personally?
I know that lots has been spent on looking at our water reticulation, everything else, but we need some quick wins on the board. We can't continue to spew sewage into our waterways. Some of the guys that work for me, they're surfies, and after there's been an outlet of sewage, they go out to the surf and that's all they can smell. That's not okay. That's our food out there. So environmentally it's impacting on our kāpatakai. It's impacting where our babies can't go to the awa for a swim. They can't go to the moana for a swim. No one can, because it's just been filled with paru. So I guess for me, in terms of that association between us and our physical being and the whenua, and that physical being, clean up our waterways. We've got to start somewhere.
What do you think the council can do to limit or help with climate change?
Climate change isn't all of responsibility for the whole community. We need to continue doing the really simple messaging so people actually understand what climate change is. You hear it, but a lot of people actually don't understand what that means and how it impacts. We've heard about carbon emissions for how many years now? No one really clicks unless you're a farmer, but it impacts on our whole environment, just talking about the awa, all of those sorts of things. So for me, yes, it is a council responsibility, but it is everyone's responsibility. And how can we lead in creating change and a more eco-environment for our community if we're not all invested in that? So I think that's where the changes need to happen.
What are your thoughts on the amount of vape stores that we have in Gisborne?
Yeah. It's a real sore point for me because I'm watching our babies get access to vapes. Now I get it. You've had a whole generation or few generations of everyone, it was cool to smoke. Yep. And part of your peer group all smoked. And there was a really good movement around the introduction of vaping to reduce smoking, and it's been working. But now we've got all of our babies vaping because it's actually quite cool. There should be more regulations put on vape stores, and I think the age limit should be raised. There needs to be more scrutiny put around who's going in. I think our kura or schools need to be responsible around the vaping issues that we have amongst our kids, but also you as a whānau. More importantly, your family need to be responsible for what you know and what you see.
If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing in our region, what would it be?
Attitude. Attitude, I think. What we've seen, I guess it's been suppressed for a very long time, is anything to do with Māori, people feel threatened. Anything to do with mental health, people feel threatened. Anything to do with our whānau that are houseless, people feel threatened. I think what needs to change is attitude. And with attitude, in order to get change, you need to educate our community. We have to start somewhere. We can start big or come back to basics. For me, it's like come back to basics. Let's get through this. Let's have the conversations. Because unless we shift the attitude, we don't shift anything, yeah? And we're always going to have inequity. We're always going to have stigmatisation. We're always going to have discrimination. And unfortunately, we're always going to have racism. So attitude's a big key one for me.
Why are you running for council?
I was asked to. I hadn't actually considered it. I thought, oh, here we go, election year again. But I think with people seeing our ability to stand up a COVID response hub, look after our own community in the way that we have, and it hasn't just been Takatu Hub, you know, in Hero Aroha by itself. It's been our iwi with their response, and there's been a joined up response across this community, but in terms of the coordination of our COVID response and now the winter wellness response, people just see that I can do what I say I can do and just get on with the job. So they see those as transferable skills that they want to see in council. So being sent the forms with deliberate messages underneath, have you completed the form yet, Hine? Kind of led me to go there. That's why I'm standing. People believe in, and they know that I have a proven history.
Who are our at-risk groups in the region and how can you help them?
We have a whole community of people that are absolutely vulnerable. You can categorise them into health, housing, access, all of those things. Loneliness, age, no whānau or family. All of them are vulnerable. We have the opportunity to turn that around. We really do. We just need to look at it a little bit differently and take our whānau from being what we know nationally as an at-risk community to a high potential community. That's what we should be aiming for.
Do you have any ideas of how we can do that?
Unpack what we think we know. Unpack it, get rid of it because it's not working. Otherwise we're doing repetitive cycle things, yeah? If we don't have deliberate different conversations, we're not going to see another way. And so I think with the opportunity for council to have a whole group of new people coming through, with some guidance from, you know, some of the older councillors that may still be there, which is great. You still need your tuakana teina relationship. We can bring new thinking to the table. We have to bring new thinking to it. We can't continue to do the same thing because we're going to get the same results, yeah? So I think this is the opportunity, this is the now for tai rāwhiti. Whether you're Māori, whether you're Pākehā, it doesn't matter. But this is the opportunity now to enact that change.
What one word would you use to describe stuff?
Deliberate. Very deliberate. So with me, being deliberate brings curiosity, brings transparency. If we're going to do something, do it well. And it's okay if we get it wrong. Come back, revisit, and go again, you know. So it's about deliberate practice, deliberate conversations, deliberate relationships. Yeah.